His name's Michael Button. He's got a YouTube channel. I would recommend going to watch it because he's one of these guys. It's a rare trait to have these days. He's an incredibly good storyteller.
Yeah. No,
he's really good at keeping timelines succinct and like explaining his unique thoughts on something.
Yeah.
Really like calmly without being like attached to the idea. He sort of just throws out what his brain came up with.
Yep.
And he's like, this is sort of where I'm at, but he's like not attached to it or defensive about it. So he's just an interesting guy to listen to. So his name's Michael Button. He has been studying ancient civilizations. He did in university and whatever. Do your own research on him. Super nice guy. I believe he's English or
like that. He's from that neck of the woods.
Somewhere over there. He found a story on a wheel. There's two super interesting ones that I want to bring up.
Yeah.
A wheel that dates back 300 million years.
Yeah,
300 million years.
They found it in a mine shaft.
Yeah, in a mine shaft, yeah. And so nearby, they also found tracks, like wheel cart ruts, that are like 12 million years old. So the wheel's like 300. So it like begs the question, is the wheel 300 million years old? We equate that to modern humans in our modern brain and being super smart.
Yep.
But if the wheel dates back 300 million years, that brings up some like super interesting questions.
Yep.
And like, we've talked about this before. I don't know about how much we've talked about it on the podcast about other civilizations, the cycles of the world, all that sort of stuff. But if people have been doing intelligent things on this planet for 300 million years, that timeline is like my brain.
No, you can't wrap your head around it. And the thing is, and I guess if something were to happen here next week and wipe out 80% of the population, how long would it take to get back to nuclear power and iPhones? And it could take.
So once again, I didn't know this. This podcast is unbelievably good to listen to.
Yep.
At a point in the Bronze Age, so not that long ago, we're talking like before Jesus, before the Common Era.
Yeah.
Not that far before that though. The human population on Earth got down to, they reckon, about 10,000 people.
Yeah, there was a big, they were all around Indonesia,
I think
that area.
So,
there was a big volcanic eruption or something and killed fucking everyone.
Yeah, it changed the climate and just fucking, there was big civilizations that just stopped existing.
Yeah.
So they weren't like, they didn't have sky rises and stuff like us, but they were reasonably advanced.
Yep.
And they just ceased to exist, and literally there was 10,000. The current estimate is between 8 and 10,000 people on the planet, on the whole planet. And then we've like gotten back to this in like a reasonably short period of time. Well, but if that's, how many times has that happened? Like,
that's exactly
crazy.
Right. That's exactly, and that's you lose sleep over that shit, which I enjoy losing sleep over. But
there's another structure called the Colombo structure.
Yeah,
and it's built. They don't know if it was a house or a bridge.
Yep.
But it was an engineered, built timber thing, but it was like a proper structure. So it means that the people that built it weren't hunter-gatherers; they were settled where they were, and they knew how to build. And it's 460,000 years old. They found it in a bog.
Yep.
So like they previously Göbekli Tepe is the oldest megalithic structure in the world. But that's the oldest megalithic structure that we found. People argue that Egypt is older, but the mainstream,
the information we have,
the information that we have, they reckon it's not. The Egypt isn't as old as Göbekli Tepe.
No.
And so this then pushes the hunter-gatherer thing back to 460,000 years old.
Yep.
And then the wheel, they could have been hunter-gatherers with wheels, like but they had a wheel 300 million years ago. Crazy.
But if we went back now to 8 to 10,000 people, 80 to 100,000 people, how many people would know how to make glass windows?
Oh, like zero.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
It
Like
would
imagine
take so long.
What are the statistics? Like, what are the odds of the guy who knows how to create the internet surviving?
Yeah, yeah, exactly right. And you could lose entire continents of people and all that history. Like, how do we know that if Australia's very young, but even if South America got completely annihilated, how much of that history that we call history would survive?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, their stories and their books and their ruins and their buildings may not be dug up for another 50,000 years.
Yeah.
And then they're going, holy shit,
what happened
50,000 years ago they had fucking rubber.
Well, the Amazon we've talked about the Amazon on this podcast before because it's super interesting. But within 100 years, a population of over 1 million people in the Amazon jungle vanished. And it wasn't discovered until like 10 years ago, 20 years ago.
Yep.
And the Spanish explorers got told lies and stuff. And that was 100 years. Their whole civilization disappeared in 100 years. Imagine what happens in 300 million years, 460,000
was that Michael
years.
Button that was talking about how quickly concrete and stuff would, and even disappears. Steel would just turn into a molecular level? You know, like
glass,
you would
steel,
find iron
concrete.
and all of the components of
but
steel.
They brought
but you
up
wouldn't find steel beams.
No, so they brought up another really good point in the argument was you would have to know what you're looking for. So you'd have to assume that civilization was building with concrete, and you would have to have the same concrete, and then you'd have to look for that concrete. And so you'd be able to find, or you'd have to be like they were a steel people and they built with this type of steel, and then you'd have to look for that type of steel in the molecules in the ground. It's the same as they talked about, because we're a nuclear civilization, you could find traces of plutonium in the atmosphere in 1 million years, but you would have to look for that exact thing. And so the chances of them knowing what to look for...
And you would have to assume that we were a nuclear
that's right. Yeah, so they might and so this is the argument of Egypt, and this is the argument of Göbekli. Like, we don't know what type of civilization they were, so we don't know what to look for or where to look. And so, like, in 10,000 years, these people aren't going to be like they were a nuclear civilization with internal combustion cars. This is what we're going to look for. They might have a completely different spin-off of how they move stuff or how they look into stuff. It's mind-boggling. It's so cool. Like, it just really it really drove. Like, I knew the world was old, and I'd known, like, Graham Hancock and all those guys have been the pioneers of really pushing that story about how old civilizations could be, but I don't even think he would understand. Like, I don't even think he would have a story for 300 million years.
Well, they found...
That's crazy.
They found... This isn't in my notes because I was only reading it yesterday. There's a property in Western Queensland. They just dug up a complete fossil of it's a dinosaur, but it's like a dolphin. Yeah. In Western Queensland.
Wow.
Fully preserved.
I didn't see it.
It's going to the National Museum in Winton. They reckon it'll be on display middle of next year.
Yeah, we got to go.
It's like 90% complete fossil.
How old is it?
I can't remember now. I read it last night, but I will look into it and bring it up next week.
Yeah, that's so cool.
But it proves that part of Australia was underwater, which it probably would be because Lake Eyre was an inland ocean. So
yeah, well, they found whales in the Sahara, right?
Yeah.
So and tons, shitloads of. So it wouldn't surprise me.
There's plant matter on Mount Everest.
Yeah, it wouldn't.
Palm trees, like tree
and
matter,
seashells on the top.
Yeah.
And so, like, it wouldn't surprise me if Australia, the desert, the Simpson Desert and all that sort of stuff would have similar things under it. And, like, it makes you think, like, how many ancient civilizations have been here? Australia is so fucking big. We've explored all of it, in air quotes, for people that aren't watching me do my sarcastic air quotes, because we've driven over the top of all of it. And people have flown planes over most of it. But, like, how much of it's actually been, like, looked into?